What's up guys, it's my girl cat Corelli and this is episode 309 of my Cat Vibe series. Today I'm painting yet another portrait, and this time it's my old friend Olga Chepezhenko, my good old Russian friend, a wonderful woman, a mother, and a beautiful, beautiful lady. So today I'm painting her portrait, and I just wanted to make sure that I got the proportions right, so I start out with a little charcoal sketch. And I know that there are artists who would say that I'm doing something wrong, not wiping out the charcoal. I kind of brushed it off a little bit, but for the most part I'm not really worried about charcoal getting in the way, because I would say they even like it. It's an interesting effect when charcoal starts to blend. I know that there are concerns about charcoal potentially rising to the surface of the oil paint over time, but I'd like to think that oil paint will dry sooner than the charcoal gets to the surface. Anyhow, this time I'm starting in rather bold brush strokes. I'm using a pigment stick, actually two of them, with burnt sienna and what is it, ivory black, I believe. I'm actually almost out of ivory black at this point. I need another pigment stick. And I'm painting this portrait, blending in some midtones right off the bat, starting with a reddish tone with burnt sienna, blocking in the eyes, and trying to work the whole portrait at once, putting in actually a lot of paint. And I gotta tell you that after that rough, grainy canvas from the past two paintings, painting on normal artist grade canvas was such a pleasure, it was such a relief. It was so much easier because it didn't suck the paint out, it didn't suck the oil out, so it's just a whole different league. Which once again makes me appreciate the quality of artist grade canvas, and makes me think that I'm not going back to that rough canvas again. I don't think it's worth it. For the most part, I'm trying to be really loose because, again, I felt that this portrait required of me to move fairly quickly. I didn't want to overdo it. I didn't want to get caught up in the minutiae of the little values. I wanted to be expressive. And, of course, I wanted my friend to be recognizable. So I'm moving in broad brush strokes for the most part, and layering in paint. This took more than one session, however. It wasn't as quick of a painting as I initially felt I wanted it to be. But it's going well so far, as you can see. I don't think that this painting is going to be made available. Maybe an art print of it, yes, but the original is not for sale. The original is for my friend. Just like the other painting of her that I've done, where she was on a motorbike. The originals are not for sale. But the art prints, I think with permission of my friend, I think I can make them available as art prints. Lots of yellow goes in here, cadmium yellow and yellow ochre as well, mixed in with some, what is it called, deeper, cadmium yellow deep and cadmium orange, plus some burnt sienna and a little bit of titanium white for the highlights. She's wearing a leather jacket here, And in the reference photo, she's sitting on a motorbike. So that's quite a beautiful photo from a few years ago. And she specifically wanted me to paint her from that photo. So I'm kind of trying to go with the vibe, trying to capture. I'm exaggerating the colors, of course, to a certain extent, and exaggerating the model as well. But for the most part, I'm trying to convey that kind of hopeful vibe that I think I saw in the photo. While, of course, simultaneously not trying to overthink it too much or overdo anything too much. So I'm still, as you can see, I'm still using fairly large brushes. A bright brush for the hair. I'm really not using pure black, ivory black. Like whatever I threw in with the pigment stick in the beginning, if you remember, I've already added and mixed in burnt sienna and burnt umber and even a little bit of blue. So it's not pure black. I don't remember if I said this before. I heard this, someone made a good point about why you shouldn't be using pure black in your painting. Because it basically deadens the painting. When it's just pure black, it just deads that area and it kills the whole painting. Unless, of course, it's more of a monochrome painting, then sure. But for the most part, the bottom line is that one should be mixing black with other colors to get a richer black, a more interesting black. And it's equally important to mix in stuff in the hierarchies, in the brighter tones, not just use bright white all the time, titanium white or zinc oxide, but to use very subtle mixtures. That's kind of what I'm doing. I'm really not using pure white at all in the entire painting and not using pure black in the entire painting. It's just not there. It's a mixture. Heeding to that advice. Ultimately, like I said before, I believe that there's a whole lot of artists and they all have their own approaches, and if something works for someone, God bless them. I figured that this piece of advice holds true for myself, so I am consciously not using pure black, and I'm not using pure white either, unless I wanted that explicitly. But for the most part, the way I produce black or really, really dark tones is I go for some kind of mixture of Prussian blue and cadmium red or naphthol red. Sometimes I mix raw umber or burnt umber with ultramarine blue or Prussian blue again, or with some red. But the red kind of brightens up the value and raises the value of the color anyways. Even if you try to mix ivory black with cadmium red, it's gonna get a lot lighter. Cadmium red is very potent. As for the brighter tones, I like to use yellow sometimes for higher key tones, for higher values, and it kind of depends. Depends on the context, depends on the overall painting, what is in that painting. Here's the finished painting, by the way. And thank you for watching, and you will hear me next time. Ciao.